Hey, welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Al. Today we've got another Godzilla sculpt. I'm really sorry about the Godzilla sculpt thing. Alrighty, we got another lunch sculpt here. Today, we got Godzilla and we're in Zbrush Core Mini. So we're gonna treat this a little bit more like a tutorial. And I'm gonna start with a large brush size and use snake hook. Now this approach will work with pretty much any sculpting software. Be it ZBrush, Blender, Core Mini, actual sculpting in clay, more or less. But the idea is just to use a large brush size. And that's what I'm focusing on here. Giant brush sizes, just to kind of push, pull, pinch to get that main head shape. I knew I only wanted to do, just like a neck and up kind of thing. And using that snake hook is a great way to push and pull and try to get that form. The thing about this speed sculpt, well, any speed sculpt, is that I didn't spend enough time in the block out stage. And you can see it in the end result. Like, the end result is like kind of there. It's like kind of Godzilla, but there's some primary forms that just weren't nailed down at the beginning. So there is something to be said about not rushing that very first step of getting in the proportions, those main primary forms, before diving on. Currently I'm using clay buildup, just trying to build up that brow area, so getting the idea that there's a skull back there. And it's okay if you screw up. Like, I pulled the lower jaw, the upper jaw, it was just way too far forward. And right now he kind of looks like Barney, maybe. Imagine this being purple. It'd pretty much be Barney. So it doesn't even look anything like Godzilla at all. But hopefully the end result will get there. I'm gonna use clay buildup a little bit more when I get to the top of the head, but I'm still just fiddling with the block out. This is very interesting, like top of his head, depending upon which Godzilla you look at. And to be honest, this entire sculpt, like several times, I kind of paused what I was doing. I'm like, this ain't working. I'm just gonna throw it away. And I'm glad I didn't. This is not my favorite sculpt that I've ever done. But the 30 minutes of my life, it was not wasted. I really enjoyed this. I never sculpted Godzilla before. I've never really done too many like reptiles or lizards, honestly. And so maybe I should do more of those. But this was a lot of fun, good practice. Right now using clay buildup, just trying to like kind of get a feel for where that eye should be. He has a really large that orbital socket where the eyeball sits, and he's got a teeny tiny little eyeball. This is just playing around with some of that position. Sometimes it's helpful just to get an eye in there, get your eyes kind of in place, or at least that orbital socket where you think it should be. We can always change it later. Move brush is really great if I don't want to worry about Sculptures Pro mode, like screwing up my topology or just changing it based on my draw size. The nice thing about that is I can have a giant draw, take that back. Let's say I've got more detail than I have. I've done a lot of detail on the face, and I still want to make a big change. What I can do is use that move brush, and it's not going to alter the topology like snake hook would. I apologize. My dog is here. Hey, Lola. Lola, say hello. Hi. Hey, you have a long day. Come here. Come on. Lola, come here. You want to sculpt with me? Let's look at this sculpt together. So back at it with the clay buildup. I knew I wanted to get all right, dog. More of a jawline. He kind of looks very blobby. And I wanted to add some of those bony features like the jaw. So using clay buildup just to kind of shape that jaw a little bit. Build up some meat around it. And it's still not... Oh, what are you doing? Hey, I'm gonna have to edit all this out. Still looking really terrible. It kind of looks like a honey badger or something. Not good, but I decided not to give up. At this stage, I'm like, oh my goodness, this looks terrible. Let's use that clay buildup, carve out the mouth a little bit more. I'm talking to you like you're my dog. You're my YouTube channel. Lola. I'm really sorry about this. That's okay. IRL, right? Sculpting in real life. The front, he kind of looks like a Spinosaurus, like a Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3 a little bit, if I were to extend that nose. Gonna use that move brush, push, pull, trying to shape that just a little bit better. And it's still real rough. Oh, you just burped in the mic, doggy. Smoothing out the eye, smoothing out the eye. I didn't really love it, so I'm going to place that eye back in here in a little bit. And I know I said I didn't spend a whole lot of time on the block out phase, and I really didn't. I know it seems like it's taken me forever so far. But I should have spent much more time. I could have nailed those proportions a little bit better, but already this is like 7 minutes into the sculpt, and I know I just need to get more of those juicy details in there. Using clay buildup, I just lay down those first large folds of skin and wrinkles. I know that that's where some scales are going to sit eventually. Using that move brush, trying to play with some shapes. Godzilla's mouth in the reference I was looking at really like stretches way back. The corners of his mouth go really far, which is pretty... Ugh. Lola, come on, get down, get down. It's a pretty cool design. I think this was the newest version I was looking at, like maybe whatever it is, King Kong versus Godzilla. But in my research, actually no, take it back. A few months ago, you know how you're like in YouTube and then you hover over thumbnails and the video starts playing. I was just moving my mouse around and I saw this crazy creature running through a city. And it was Shin Godzilla. And I had never heard of it before. But it's this giant thing. Look it up. Shin Godzilla. I need to see the movie. I love it. I don't know what I love about it. He's got some derpy little eyes, but it felt so grounded. This giant creature running through the city. I thought it was like a practical effect. You know, maybe a miniature that was comped into the shot or something. But it was all CG. It just feels really good. And he's got these gnarly like gills that would like spew blood. Never seen anything like that before in my life. And I like it a lot. Now, this is not Shin Godzilla. I just don't know why I didn't do that one. But that's right. It is what it is. Remember when I told you this was going to be kind of like a tutorial? I have definitely strayed from that as I've gone on several tangents. And my dog is still down here. So trying to get some nostrils in there. Hey, looky there, rookie mistake. Forgot to turn on symmetry. Actually, I tried to press Control Z, but then I pressed X, which turns on and off symmetry in Core Mini. So yeah, don't forget about that. I think I just said forget about it. I don't even care. Slowly working on the mouth. All right, so I'm back at it. And to trim out some fiddling around that I was doing with the undo, and I had to undo a lot. I undid it. We're back at it. Using that move brush, pulling out the mouth. Always rotate around your model, okay? Just do it. Please rotate, zoom in, zoom out. Do everything you gotta do. Don't get tunnel vision. Always look at your forms from as many angles as you can. Okay. So trying to make that jaw a little bit more pronounced using my Wacom tablet. Wacom, 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 whatever. I say Wacom. I can lightly do some strokes. If you are using a mouse right now, you really need at least the bare minimum, the cheapo depot little XP pen tablets, you know, that are like 20 bucks. I don't have experience with those, but I've heard good things. I have had my students use like the $50 little Intuos draw tablets, whatever they are. I don't know, little bitty cheap tablets from Wacom. Those work well. Not a whole lot of real estate when you're doing anything, but they work. I have a 10-year-old Wacom tablet that I'm using, and it is still going strong. So I don't know. Great brand. I've heard great things about Huion, and XP Pen, but I'll probably always stick with Wacom. When this dies, I'll move on up. As you can see, I'm laying down the foundation of just where these ridges of these scales are gonna be. And they look really terrible, but that's okay. Like, this is, imagine like you've got this form in actual clay, and then I'm just laying chunks of clay down, just so my brain can say, hey, this is where things are going to flow. This is where things need to be. It's great practice, especially with bony areas. Like if your character, you can mark in where the elbow is. You can mark where your collarbone is just really quickly, and you'll change it later. You know, knees, pelvis, spine, good things like that. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Just kind of just marking them, and I'll come back and always fix them. Yeah, so from here, the whole thing is just still too long. It just didn't feel like Godzilla until once again, I've been pushing back the snout this whole time, and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's finally kind of getting there. It also didn't feel like Godzilla until I like started making this really beefy in the back. And at the end, you be the judge. Does it feel like Godzilla? Not 100%. But for 30 minutes, you know, this ain't half bad. In the finished render, you'll see that I did this comic style. It was a lot of fun. I developed a few of my own materials I've been playing with inside a keyshot, and that is a lot of fun. Play with the lighting and materials. I had a goal in mind, and it's cool to meet your goal when it comes to rendering, things like that. Lighting that you see in your head, or just this style. That was fun. I'm not very proficient in keyshot or like lighting materials at all, so that was a big deal for me. Had a good time. It's always a plus when I don't use the tutorial for something, and in regards to anything, and I was like, yeah, I made it work. It's fun to explore. Once again, the corners of those mouths go really far back there. I like how flat it is at the front of his face. That's looking really, really great. Using clay buildup to carve that, I don't know, the roof of the mouth. I don't know why I have this strange desire. I always point to, like, I'm working on the nose. Nose. The word of the day is nose. This is not Sesame Street. But in real life, I like to talk with my hands, I guess, or just point, give demonstrations. That's okay. All right, so I didn't like where that was going necessarily. But I'm gonna use clay buildup and just go the other direction, because I want there to be like a, you know, skin and lip on top, and then there'll be a chunky, doing it again, chunky gums underneath. I was very happy and pleased at how fast I mean, does a lizard have lips? I guess it has lips. The lips and the gums and teeth came together. It was very smooth, not too many hiccups. Zbrush Core Mini is rough when it comes to... There was lots of plosives there. Sorry about that. Hopefully my pop filter is working out well. Yeah, Core Mini is really rough whenever you are using trying to use multiple objects, because you can't, right? So and if I were doing this in Blender or ZBrush, I would have the gums as a separate object, teeth, all individual objects, or insert mesh brush. But at work, it's nice. I don't have enough keys to ZBrush to put it on my workstation. So on my lunch break, I just use Core Mini a lot of times, or Blender. My dog is playing in the background. You see her, your shadow. Oh, what a fierce Lola. So using clay buildup, I didn't have any reference for gums or anything. I've made gums at least enough. I can do a halfway presentable job on teeth and things like that. Here's the pro tip on how to do gums. Make a whole bunch of meatiness and then add the teeth. Okay, you should write that down. I'll say it again. Meatiness, teeth. That's it. Piece of cake. Yep, so with that large brush, I can use move tool, my move brush instead of snake hook, because with a large snake hook brush, it would have screwed up. It would have made all the polygons on those gums a lot larger, and I just would have lost the little detail that I have. So to make teeth, I do the same thing for fingernails. I'll use clay buildup and scribble back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That way I can just pull out this section, and then I'll go in there and mess around with snake hook and move, and then hold shift to smooth eventually. I can also change my camera angle about halfway through these little teeth if I wanted to curve them a certain way. I could pull it out and then rotate my camera, pull it out. It looks kind of creepy with these just weird pegs of a teeth. And then snake hook to gently press, gently encourage the teeth to turn into teeth. Oh yeah, I forgot to edit that out. We're saving to my desktop. My desktop is a nightmare. All kinds of things on there. Yeah, that's my philosophy when it comes to desktops is fill up the desktop with stuff, and then whenever it becomes too full to find anything, create a folder, and then call that desktop 1. Do it again. Desktop 2, desktop 3. Life. The inside life of my computer habits. That's okay. You gotta find something that works for you. You know, some people are very, very organized. There is something to be said about organization, but yeah, do what works. There's nothing that says you have to be organized unless you're working for a company or something. If it works for you, then it works. That's great. Are there things that you can do to be more efficient? For sure. But snake hook, and then you can see that if I hold shift to smooth. Ooh, I put one in the middle. I hate that. It just never looks good. Never put one right in the middle. I think my teeth, I get to see my teeth. Yeah, there's not one right in the middle. Using clay buildup. Push, pull, add some of that meatiness all around. Let's see, this is about the halfway mark, so this is 16 minutes in. Currently I'm at 315,000 polygons, which means my computer's starting to lag just a little bit. On the top middle of my screen, I will press low, and that will decimate. So it's just gonna lower the polygon count everywhere and do its best to keep as much detail as possible, which is awesome. Okay, so he looks like I don't know, it's a cool looking creature, I guess. Nothing too crazy. He's very smooth, and I definitely fixed that in the end. But yeah, there's not much more I can say. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the sculpt. I do dive into some details. Let me know in the comments below. This was also a request from a comment, so thank you for this. Thank you for the suggestion. It was a great challenge for me. I apologize it took so long to get it out, but we made it happen. So, enjoy the video. Let me know what you think. Let me know everything. Just tell me everything. Tell me your dog's name. You got a dog that interrupts your sculpting? It's never an interruption. It's never. Always a joy. So thanks for sticking around. I will catch you next time. Be sure to subscribe if you felt I earned it. You know, all that good stuff. Y'all are awesome. Thanks for hanging with me.